right, America. We are back. Ladies and gentlemen, time is short. We're in danger. Our nation is at a crossroad. In fact, it's at a T intersection. There's no crossroads left. You cannot move straight. We are in danger. You know, the military uses a phrase when they call in supporting fire, and they're laying in a trench or foxholes, and they instruct the pilot or the artillery to come in, what? Danger close. That means pour it in right on top of us. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to call in the artillery of grassroots revolt in the United States of America. Peaceful, civil disobedient, grassroots revolt. How do we accomplish that? It is time for America to rise up, because we're tired of politicians. We're tired of lies. We're tired of these people who heap self-congratulatory, back-patting praise upon themselves and their cronies. We're tired of taxes, theft of our rights, the sponging off, the drawing, the bleeding, the bloodletting of our resources, our financial resources. The whole point of Obamacare is to steal resources that you and I need to fight. That and building a dossier on you. I ask you again, and I've asked you before, give me one valid, legitimate benefit that you will gain from the government having everything about you, your financial information, your educational information, your health information, and your history, your job history, your family size, the size of your farm, how many animals you have on it, what kind of a makeup are they, your emails, your posts, your telephone calls, your texts, and your internet searches. All that's going into dossiers. Tell me one thing that good that will come from that for you. I've challenged America to do this. I've asked you to send me an email if you believe that you've got a legitimate value that will come to you as a result of government having all that information on you. Building a dossier, building a database. There isn't any. My email will remain silent on that issue. I'm willing to bet. You see, for generations now, we've been betrayed with lies, misdirection, misrepresentation, and the shameless self-promotion of those who are allegedly our leaders and our representatives. We're tired of people who gain office that claim to be the advocates of small government. See, they know the talking points to use. They know the bullet points to throw out there. They promote fiscal responsibility. Justify fiscal responsibility in that phrase with anything you see going on in our government today. They tout returning power to the citizenry, while simultaneously they rob you of your resources, your energy, your motivation, your determination, your courage. Then they turn around and they pass even more legislation that restricts you even further. They have failed over and over and over to repeal the burdens of the past legislators who have raped and violated us quote, all for our own good. You see, government has lost perspective. They no longer understand their role. Their role is clear. Their role is to protect, not to oppress. They have all betrayed us, individually and collectively. We've entrusted them to act on our behalf. We gave them a power of attorney. We said, you may take this power of attorney and you may act on our behalf. We give you fiduciary responsibility. We've honored them. We've trusted them. We've poured our hopes and our dreams and our desires into them. But we asked them to act as our fiduciary, not as our master. We've spent our money supporting them. We've put our time into their campaigns. We've sweated to make them our representatives. And in many cases, we have shed our blood. Yet they have turned around and they steal the very lifeblood that sustains us. What do we do? What does America do when faced with betrayal? Well, we know what our founders did. They didn't take it. They took it for a while until it became untenable. I've written a program and I've put it out there on the web, and it's gotten, I don't even know, I believe at this point it's up to about 80,000 people have viewed and read this. It's called The Plan to Take Back America, to place all state and federal capitals under civil, disobedient, peaceful siege. I utilize the word peace for a reason. We don't want to be in a position of firing a shot. We will reserve that only when we are attacked. For self-defense. That would be the self-defense that John Adams referred to. That would be the self-defense where John said to us, arms in the hands of citizens may be used at individual discretion for the defense of the country, the overthrow of tyranny, or private self-defense. But there is a way that we can take action that will have effect immediately. We stop the flow of money. We shut down commerce. We make a commitment that we will stop the tyranny and end the treasonous actions on both state and federal governments by starving them of the one thing they cannot live without: your money. 70% of the United States economy is based upon consumer spending. Ladies and gentlemen, that number is a far cry from what it has been in the past. Do you remember when George Bush came out after 9/11 and said, America, go out and shop? Why did he say that? Because he knew that if Americans sat home paralyzed in fear and fright, the economy would collapse. And the government would collapse and fail as well. So today, you make a commitment. Today, we will make a commitment to take our nation back by peaceful civil disobedience, by placing the very people and the very agencies, the very departments, the very infrastructure and framework that oppresses us under siege. Civil disobedience in the United States of America is a well understood and time-honored and successful method. It is successful, and we've seen it work before. We've seen it work with issues like racial integration, civil rights for minorities, the right for women to vote. Civil disobedience means we are all Rosa Parks, and we refuse to go to the back of the bus. We refuse to sign in and sign up. We opt out of Obamacare. We go to our city council meetings and we say, we will not rise taxes. You will not increase the taxation on us. You will not put Common Core into our schools. Today, we need every patriot to make a commitment to bringing all state and federal governments, agencies, branches, divisions to what? To ruin. To a screeching, blood-curdling halt. How do we accomplish that? No more commerce, America. Today, you need to say, I am an American patriot, and I know how I can solve this problem. I know that I have the power to make a difference. Today, you must make a choice. Either you are the solution or you are the problem. The days where we sit around and vacillate and cry and whine and moan and bemoan our fate, where we wring our hands in fear. They may come to my home. They may take away my car. They may take away my house. I can't afford a ding on my credit report. What kind of a patriot are you? Our founders, they put their lives, their fortunes, their sacred honor, their liberty, their freedom on the line to create this great nation which you have benefited from. And your greatest fear is that your credit report may get a dent? Really now. They can't foreclose on all the houses. They can't take away all the cars. They can't repossess everything from everyone. You see, the problem is that we are an unstoppable mass, but it requires us to act en masse. We as a people, as a nation, as businesses, as parents, as families, as cities, communities, neighborhoods. Today, we must determine that we are going to take action. And that action will effectively starve the beast into submission. We can bring the entire nation and each and every one of the 50 states to a screeching halt, economically and peacefully, by utilizing the one tool that makes it all happen: massive, peaceful, civil disobedience. You should be prepared for difficulty, trouble, discomfort, hunger, cold, fear. But you should also be prepared for success. It doesn't take, there are 315 million people in America. It doesn't take all 315 million of us. 10% would move the needle dramatically. We have reached the end of a very, very long road. That road has been operating and focusing us and directing our path since, quite frankly, virtually since the creation of the Constitution. Remember, by 1798, already the government had enacted what? Those of you who are listeners to this program will understand that they had already enacted the Alien and Sedition Acts in direct violation of the Constitution. The Sedition Act imprisoned hundreds of Americans and violated the First Amendment and their right to free speech. For criticizing government, you could be imprisoned. And it happened. Where do you think the term nullification came from? It came from Madison, and it came from Jefferson in their writings as they decried the treason and tyranny of the Sedition Act. Any law, written or otherwise promulgated, that exceeds the constitutional authority granted to the federal government is null and void on its face. The Constitution, for crimini's sake, the ink was barely dry. It was the first test. And their rise up caused the repeal of those unconstitutional actions, and in no short order. You see, roughly since 1900, we have been on a path towards authoritarianism, fascism, Marxism. The end is very close. We've reached the end of this long road. And like a road that ends, it doesn't just dead end right there. There's a path to the left, and there's a path to the right. We will take one of those paths. One leads to destruction, authoritarianism, slavery, destruction, death, war. The other brings us back brings us back onto the corrected road of a constitutionally founded government, where the Constitution is given its rightful place as the rule of law. The question for America, for every member of this nation, whether you sit on the political left or the political right, whether you're completely agnostic, the question is still there. Choose. You must choose. And with that choice comes responsibility. Responsibility to act, not just speak. But your actions must be in concert, in parallel with your spoken word, your thoughts, your ideas, and your beliefs. Today, you must make a choice. You must change the way in which you act. The game of consumerism funds that which is seeking your destruction and your demise. Every transaction puts money into the coffers of those who seek to destroy you. Stop spending money. Withhold. Withhold your payments to government agencies, state or federal. Starve the beast of the only food that it can possibly eat. Your financial resource. That combined with a serious march on Washington and every state capital will declare our stance. How many does that require? Millions. In all the years that we've heard the million man this and the million man that, we've never even seen more than 750,000 march on anything. Never seen a million anything. There's never been a million march. There's never been a million attendees at anything. Do you want to change the nature of what happens to us? Do you want to be back in control of your government? 10 million Americans who swamped D.C. and shut it down. Now that has value. Everything else is marketing. On October 11th through the 13th, truckers are taking a stand, representing for our nation. They're asking you to not participate. They're asking you to help support their effort. There's a website out there for it. There's a Facebook page. And I don't even care if you don't like Facebook. Go to it anyway. Facebook.com/1 million truckers DC. Their goal is to lock down the city and park their trucks nationwide. Stop commerce. Buy nothing. It's not the quantity, it's the message, America. We're going to take a break. You're listening to America's Voice Now. Please stay with us for this break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the IRS's $67 million disappearing act and how the NSA has betrayed us. And I've got the proof. We'll be back in just a moment. Find us on the web at AmericasVoiceNow.org.